Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's installation service, where we'll be installing the board and abwa officers. And my name is Ron Tsuchiya, and I'll be the chairperson today. And before we start, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to Reverend Taniguchi, who will be also assisting in the service and is back to visit us today. We'll begin this morning's service with Sanbujo on pages 24 and 25, followed by the reading of the Yobakumon.
Today, on the occasion of the installation service for the Buddhist temple of Alameda, members of our temple families have reverently come before Amida Buddha. With deepest reverence and thankfulness for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida, we reaffirm the three homages Namukie Butsu, Namukie Ho, Namukie So. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Please repeat the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanga, Namanga, Namanga.
We'll begin this morning's service with we'll have Sutra chanting, Butsu Ge on page 79.
Gatha
心性おすがの意力少々欲一本生存知恵無限要領子孫知が真純遠慮心死諸愚六十家業精進人寿無限
Please stand for the Gatha Nembutsu 1 on page 169 and remain standing for the reading of the three treasures on page 8.
Page 8, Three Treasures, number 1. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in the life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teachings. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandab, Namandab, Namandab. Please be seated.
Now, Reverend Fujimoto will share a Dharmage method with us.
Good morning. Ohayo gozaimasu. Such a nice crowd today. Makes me feel popular here. There must be other reasons why we're all here. I wanted to mention there was a time at another temple. There were some first-time visitors coming to the service, and they came out afterwards to ask me a couple questions. And look, maybe they had been college students or something, and so they asked me, what are the key points to Buddhism? And so they asked, what are the essential elements? And so they wanted a quick answer, quick fix, and sometimes it's maybe looking for an answer that they could take with them and talk about, share with their friends, their experience in coming to a Buddhist temple. But Buddhism is not that easy, so there's a lot of things to consider. So when you are asked, what do you say? Maybe your friends or colleagues at work find out you went to a temple or you belong to a temple, or maybe you're the one that's asking.
And so how do you respond when you are asked about being Buddhist? So what did you come up with? We asked, it was in the newsletter too. So, asking people.
Send in your responses to Reverend Dennis. Do you know how many I got? None. Zero. Nada. Let me reiterate. None. Okay. Today, maybe you have some thoughts, a sentence, even a word. What is a key word that you would like to include in your response? Okay. Amy. Compassion. Okay. Other oriented. Right. Okay. Universal oneness. Okay, that's good. The three poisons. Okay. Three poisons. Greed, anger, and ignorance. Okay. Doug?
Everything in the universe is always manifesting as a wisdom.
Wait. Everything in the universe?
Everything in the universe is always manifesting as the wisdom of
I think you lost me already. Okay. We want to be concise, okay? You want to hook these people. Yeah, okay, that's good. Any others back there? Dorothy? Interconnectedness? Ours is a path of deep awareness expressed as gratitude. Okay, so I came up with this 10 words, but it took some time. Why am I saying it in this way? Okay, and so when someone comes in, they're coming from somewhere, right? Maybe they have practiced meditation. Maybe they've gone to a Zen temple or a meditation center, or read some books or talked to other friends. Maybe they went to the temple in Oakland. Now they're in Alameda. So they have all this experience and thoughts and ideas and questions in mind. So then out of that, they're asking you questions. So you don't know where they have been or what they're thinking, right? So in order to engage them, I was thinking, there are many forms of Buddhism. We are Shin Buddhists. By saying that we take all this confusion and focus it, there are many forms of Buddhism. We are Shin Buddhists. Then we're talking about us, our temple, my experience, my family, whatever is the connection, okay? Then ours is the path of deep awareness expressed as gratitude. Okay, so as I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking they have all these thoughts. There are many forms of Buddhism. We want them to focus, focus, focus. So that's like our home court advantage, okay? Bring them to our court. Bring them to Chase Center, okay? Then talk to them. So there's all these different forms here, okay? So we are Shin Buddhists, okay? So not just talking about Buddhism in general, but we're talking about this practice here at the Buddhist Temple of Alameda. We are Shin Buddhists, okay? So they're focused even more. This temple, my experience, not what all the things they're thinking about. Now they have to listen to what we're going to say, right? Then ours is a path of deep awareness expressed as gratitude, okay? So in that sentence, I thought path might be better than practice. Ours is a practice of deep gratitude, but it's not just practice. Practice has a sense of I'm trying to improve, I'm trying to get better, I'm trying to learn something, okay? So path is more like a river, right? We enter at different parts of the river. Every day is different depending on what we're going through, right? So maybe we're at the temple, or maybe we're at the hospital, or maybe we're at the school or a game. We don't know. But depending on where we are, this path is different, but it's still there, okay? So like the river, it's always changing. It depends on what's going on at that time. So deep awareness. So awareness is received instead of achieved, okay? Awareness comes from beyond the self. So this is why I thought awareness is important, not something that my conclusion, no. It comes to us, okay? And so this is the point, that spiritual growth comes from beyond ourselves, okay? And it's not our own doing, coming from the infinite, coming from Amida, not our own doing. And gratitude is our expression of life, our interaction with the world, okay? Towards others, towards all beings, towards the infinite. This is our gratitude, okay? Gratitude was brought up. So gratitude, easy to say and simple to say, but gratitude is deep, okay? Without deep awareness, you don't have gratitude. It's either it's deep or it's fake, okay? Okay. So when we stop to consider ways to respond, then we have to think about our teachings, our traditions, and what do they mean to us, okay? So what is the point of being Buddhist? What does Buddhism offer, right? Why do we come here? We only serve prime rib once a year, right? That's not the reason, okay? Why do we come here? What is the life of Nembutsu? Why do we say this, Namo Amida Butsu? And I remember I've shared this story from my mother. She teaches Japanese flower arrangements for over 60 years now. And one time she had a new student, and you know, students come from many different countries, different cultures, and wanted to learn about ikebana flower arranging. And one was from Japan, and she didn't grow up Buddhist. So she's asking, Maybe she noticed the home altar or something, or maybe they were at the Buddhist temple or something. So she asked, what do you get out of saying the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu? What do you get out of that? And so what would you say? How do you respond? If someone asks you, we come here every time, Sensei, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Call and response, and we say this. So what, do you say this on your own? Do you say this in the car, at the restaurant? Probably not, right? But why do you say it? What is it? So she's asking my mother, what do you get out of saying the Nembutsu? And my mother responded, you don't get anything. It's not that kind of teaching. Well, then why do you say it? Okay? So maybe she was expecting an answer like, it brings you good luck or good fortune. Maybe it gives you a life filled with peace and tranquility. So my mom just answered, it's not that kind. It's not a matter of what we get, right? It's an awareness awakening. So Nembutsu connects us to this infinite reality that is providing this awareness. Okay. And the first written page on here at the bottom, it says, understanding fully the principle of causality, we shall not practice petitionary prayer or magic, nor shall we rely upon astrology or other superstitions. The numbered pages, number 2, at the very bottom, second half of the paragraph, okay? So this is talking about what our practice is, okay? Not petitionary prayer. We're not hoping for a new car or a raise or meeting somebody that's wonderful and I'm going to get married. I don't mean again, I mean Charmin, not. We meet someone in our lives, someone dear to us, right? It's not a matter of what we get, okay? There was another time holding a class on Buddhism, and a young person was in the class, looked like older high school or young college student, and thought she'd check Buddhism out. So she asked, so I'm kind of materialistic. I buy the latest shoes and I have fashions. I know Buddhism is not like that. So will I learn to be not so materialistic if I come to this class? She only came once, right? But pondering, this is how I am, but this is not how I should be, I think, right? She was not really committed to learning about that. But these were her questions, okay? So in the Tanisho, it says, saying the Nembutsu is neither a religious practice nor a good act. Since it is practiced without any calculation, it's non-practice. Since it is also not a good created by my calculation, my effort, it is non-good. Since it is nothing but other power, completely separate from my self-power, it is neither religious practice or good act. Okay? Neither one of these. Okay? So this quote from the Tanisho is showing that it's removed, Shin Buddhist practice is removed from our personal efforts. Okay? It's something that comes to us from beyond ourselves. We have to get beyond ourselves for this wisdom to come. It's not an accomplishment. We receive it. We don't achieve it. Okay? So now, there was a story. Dr. Haneda wrote this article and trying to explain this, the difference between Buddhist learning and regular education. Okay? So we go to school from the time we're very young, we tell the kids how important it is to go to school, try your best, work your hardest, get good grades, listen to your teacher, all these things. Study hard, keep up with the others, and we put this effort to learn at school, okay? And we expect this effort to lead us to become better people, more knowledgeable, more successful, right? This is the goal. So we don't suffer so much in life. We find a good station in life. Then we come to the temple, to Buddhism, and we use the same approach because that's the only approach we know, right? but it doesn't fit that way. It's a different type of learning that's going on here. Okay. So, Dr. Hanada says, in Buddhism, we do not affirm and maintain the self as the basis of learning. The self is doubted, negated, and transcended. We critically examine the self that desires to be better, more knowledgeable. And then we discover the pettiness, the emptiness of the self. So we negate the self and other beyond us. We realize that there's something else there, and it enters. Okay? So he's saying, regular education is effort made by the self to improve the self. But Buddhist learning is transcending the self, going beyond the self. It's a different direction, okay? Only by going beyond this individual effort do we enter this realm of the infinite. Okay? So as he's trying to make this point in his article, he wrote about this story about a Buddhist priest in Japan, and it's Ho-Onko time, the death memorial of our founder, Shinran Shonin. And so it's always a special. This is the most important service in Japan for Shin Buddhists. Okay, so all the temples, Shin Buddhist temples, they'll put on special programs, special services. And this particular sensei thought he's going to do 3 days of lectures, 3 days. And he's put flyers and advertisement for couple weeks in advance, letting people know that he's going to have this 3 days of lecture. Okay, but he's not that popular, right? He's not that good a speaker, so kind of reminds me of somebody, right? So 3 days, and so the first day of the lecture, he comes in ready to give his talk. They had a service and a talk, and there's only 3 people had come. Okay, he didn't serve prime rib, just 3 people. So he's there listening quietly and patiently and talking for an hour, maybe 2 hours, and so they're kind of disappointed and trying to not fall asleep in front of sensei, and he's disappointed that so few people came and not many people were able to listen to him. And at the very end, he says, "Oh, I know a way. I was taught a way of changing tofu into meat. I'm going to talk about this at the next lecture." And everybody was surprised. Wow, I didn't know Sensei knew anything. He's going to talk about how to change tofu into meat. So yeah, tell your friends, let them know, come back tomorrow. So they start talking among their friends. Really, Sensei's going to talk about changing tofu into meat. Okay, that might be good, huh? So they're talking a little bit more. So he comes to the second lecture the next day, and there's about 40 people there. So he's happy about that, you know. So he starts to give his lecture, and he's telling the stories of Shinran Shonin, and people are towards the long lecture. They're kind of getting restless, and so finally they said, "Sensei, you said you're going to talk about turning tofu into meat. You haven't said anything about that." He goes, "Oh, that's right. Completely forgot about it. But gee, it's 10 p.m. already. I don't have time for this, but I'll make sure to talk about it tomorrow. Please come back tomorrow, okay? Invite your friends, come back tomorrow." So, okay, so they enthused again, so they left, and they're talking about it, telling their friends, and so he comes on the third day. Over 200 people sitting in the hondo, right, listening to Sensei, standing room only crowd, and he's going on and on with this lecture and talking about Shinran Shonin, our founder, and da-da-da-da-da. And so finally, at the end, people are getting angry, right? They're restless and irritated, and Sensei, you haven't said anything about tofu and meat. We waited so long. This is what we came for. Why don't you tell us the secret about changing tofu into meat? And so the teacher said, "Yeah, I forgot all about it again, but I'll tell you. Changing tofu into meat is not that difficult. First, You buy soybeans, a lot of soybeans. You bring it home. You make tofu, a lot of it. Make a lot of tofu. You take that tofu to the market and you sell it. With that money, you go buy some meat. Okay? And they're just frustrated and so upset. And Sensei, this is the only thing he's saying. And they're just dumbfounded that they went through all this and that's all he had to say, right? So that's the end of the story. Haneda Sensei is saying, in the story, tofu is human wisdom, and meat is the Buddha's wisdom, infinite wisdom, okay? So how do you come expecting to be able to change limited human wisdom into enlightened wisdom? There are different things, no matter how you deal with it, no matter what you read or try to learn, your human wisdom is still human wisdom with all its limitations. It's not going to change into meat, into enlightened wisdom, okay? So these are the limitations of human wisdom that we have to recognize before an enlightened awareness comes in, okay? So the uniqueness of Shin Buddhism, the Nembutsu teachings, is that we don't have to get good or be good or do good, okay? We don't have to learn more. We don't have to practice more or to polish ourselves. All these things are extra, but we do need to know ourselves, see ourselves, recognize our limitations, okay? So we see these limitations and the limitations of self-improvement, okay? Not just to practice chanting because I'm going to get better, not to sit in meditation for 1 hour and then 2 and then 3. Okay, these are self-improvement, self-effort, self-centered effort. Okay, so we can drop this self-improvement, then we transcend the self and are able to receive the Buddha's wisdom. And this is right there, ready to be received. So through that, you see this process of learning. So when I'm asked, then there are many forms of Buddhism. We are Shin Buddhists. Our path is a path of deep awareness expressed as gratitude. Okay. So again, path rather than practice. It's a river flowing. We enter this river flowing with all these fellow Nembutsu practitioners. They say the Nembutsu, we say the Nembutsu, we chant together, we eat together. This is our river. And so those who ask the question, they're getting focused in on what is this practice, not all the different things they experience. Coming here, be where you are. Then you talk to them. So path, rather than practice, awareness is received rather than achieved, okay? And gratitude, this is our expression, how we act, no matter where we are, no matter who we're with, okay? So there's this motion, right? Awareness enters, expressed as gratitude. So there's this dynamic happening, not just information locked into your brain and then you spew it out as soon as you see something, okay? So with that one sentence, then you have them engaged. You don't have to talk to them forever. Maybe you don't even like them, right? So you just say this one sentence and then you say, excuse me, I have to go serve some tea now. And you leave them alone and let them ponder. Maybe you'll fidget, say, excuse me, I have to go to the bathroom now, right? Don't be where you don't want to be. So you talk to them, answer their questions, and give them a space to be quiet with it, right? But all these words, let me go over them again. So many good words that we came with. Compassion, impermanence, other-oriented, universal oneness, the three poisons, interconnectedness, gratitude, Four Noble Truths, okay, all these thoughts. And you can use these terms, but make it into a sentence. How will this touch someone? How will it impact someone? How does this convey what you're thinking inside? Just the term is hard, huh? But how do you make it work for someone else? It has to work for you first. So this is your homework, and I'm going to be waiting. My email box is going to be full now, right? Everybody has thoughts and ideas. So, okay, thank you very much. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei, for your message. And I hope the words help us all understand why we are Buddhists and we come to the temple every week. Would you please stand for Gatha Ondokusan on page 220? Now we'll have the installation of officers for the temple board and for the awa. So Sensei will introduce the officers.
Yes, I'd like to call up our new board members. First for the temple, Buddhist Temple of Alameda, new officers, President Howard Shintani, Treasurer Tom Hashimoto. Yeah, please come up in Oshooko and then stay up here. And Secretary Kimberly Kato Chambliss. And the ABWA board, President Lenny Teraodor, Vice President Joyce Maniwa, Treasurer Jackie Ito Wu, and Secretary Maria Piper. Joyce, be on this side. Yeah. Okay, we're very happy to have these people as our new officers. Please turn to the altar and so, Not quite ready for the picture.
You have been selected by your peers to serve in leadership capacity for the Buddhist Temple of
Alameda, and for the Alameda Buddhist Women's Association for the upcoming term. As leaders of the temple, you are reminded to keep the three treasures, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, in mind at all times. As long as you do so, the welfare of the temple will be in good hands. We elevate each of the three treasures above personal concern and model this behavior for the benefit of our fellow temple members. Please repeat after me. I put my faith in Buddha. I put my faith in Dharma. I put my faith in Sangha. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, thank you. Congratulations. Please turn to the Sangha. Please welcome our new officers. Now, picture time.
Okay, our thanks to both the board of directors for the temple and for the officers that are serving in the Abwa Club. We have a few acknowledgements. We'd like to thank those who help with the altar preparations and with the service. Reverend Dennis. YouTube is and IT services by Brian, who's in the back room. We never get to see him, but you can talk to him at lunch. Altar flowers by Jane, and our organist, Lenny. So thank you to all of those. Are there any newcomers to the service or temple today? No? Okay, I guess just all the old timers here. Okay. So we have a few announcements. First of all, I was asked to make an announcement by Jackie Ito Wu. The temple is sponsoring a first aid, CPR, AED, which is defibrillator training for paid temple members. And space is limited, so it's first come, first serve. It's quite an expensive training. It's 5 hours long, so you have to be prepared to donate some of your time. But it's quite valuable, and I think it's something that everyone can use. So we're hoping that we have volunteers to come take the training for yourself and your family and the temple. Today's the last day to sign up. So if you would like to attend, please talk to Jackie Ito Wu after the service at the lunch, and she can give you the details. But it's a 5-hour training, and the target date it's to be scheduled later, and it'll take place between February and mid-March. So I hope there's other folks here that can volunteer their time and gain this very valuable training. Some other announcements. Next Sunday, January 26th, is a family service, and ask Reverend Dennis. Sunday, February 2nd, is a Shotsuki monthly memorial service, and there's also an Abwa meeting after the service. Are there any other announcements? And, yeah, Amy? thank you, Amy. Are there any other announcements? Okay, well, this concludes this morning's service. So thank you for attending the service, and please come up to offer incense and join us for lunch in the social hall. And for those who weren't aware of it, today is actually our New Year's party, and it's a special prime rib lunch prepared by the board of directors. We also have vegetarian dishes here too for those that don't eat meat. And so please come up. And I'd like to thank the temple board members for coming early to prepare the meal and helping serve. So you could thank the board members if you see some after lunch. So, okay, thank you again for attending service.